Welcome back, everyone. Again, my name is Jeff Mason, and this is part 3 to the rust-proof exercise routines for seniors and for retirees. What I hope to present right now are 4 different aspects to my daily routine. First, I'll present very simple warm-up exercises. Then I'll go to my 2 most important forms, which are balance and squatting. And I explained in the introduction why they're so important. I'll finish with a brief demonstration of each one of the yogic type exercises that I do. So to begin with, again, as I emphasized in the introduction, breathing is incredibly important. Every time you see my head go back, I'm taking in a breath. And you'll see that hopefully with every exercise that I do. So normally I start off with what I call wally ups. My shoulders are so seriously injured I can no longer do push-ups, but I can get next to a wall and do wally ups. But as you can see here, we don't have a wall today, so you'll just have to imagine that in your own mind. From there, I go to a series normally involving 12 repetitions per exercise, but today there's no need to put you to sleep, and I'll do basically 4, a demonstration of 4 per exercise. So we'll get started. This next one I probably am taking from my high school gym teacher. You go clockwise and then you go counterclockwise. Very simple. Next, exercises for the neck. And the final next exercise now moving down, we'll do a series of movements for the lower torso. So okay, moving on to the next part of my warm-ups. I haven't done warm-ups on an incline, so forgive me if I seem a little shaky on this. So that's the warm-up routine. We'll move on now to balancing, which should be a bit of a challenge with the incline, but we'll do the best we can. First, I do balancing on one leg and then the other. So, and I count to 100. Today I'll count to, I don't know, 5 or 6, something very brief, short, but to give you a good idea what I do. So it's okay, and now I shift to the other foot. Starting out, I had to have a bed or a couch or a chair, something, because the balance exercises can easily get out of hand, and even sometimes for me now it does, but we'll do the best we can. Okay. This next exercise, it's important to get your triangulated leg locked in to your knee. So it's arm out and slowly bring your foot up to your knee. Again, this is awkward with the incline. Maybe it'd be better this way. Let's try it. Okay. And then I just count to 100 as I did with the first ones. And it can actually get quite comfortable once you get a feel for it. So now you just shift to the other. And here we go. Yeah. Okay, the next one, I count to 150. I'll do 100 in my initial position, and then I'll finish with 50 with my leg spread out behind me. So that one looks something like, just trying to figure the angle here. Hand on the hip that you're going to stand on, and leaning forward and then slowly picking up your leg and proceeding to count to 100. When you get there, then you lift your leg up, or I should say I lift my leg up for a count of 50, and then I go on to the other leg. This is okay. And then lifting up to a count of 50. And now, the one that really deserved caution. I still struggle with this one myself, and you need plenty of soft cushions and no sharp corners when you do this. But what it involves is putting your arms out, closing your eyes, and then balancing on one foot and then balancing on the other. So it's like this. And what I like to do is focus my awareness on the foot that's being lifted up. For some reason, that seems to make a difference for me. So let's try it. Okay. Now on the other side, the other foot. better than I expected. Okay, so that's the whole series of balance exercise. And again, I can't emphasize enough its importance, because oldsters like myself, the statistics on falls that are either terminal or permanently debilitating these days is skyrocketing. And this balancing exercise is really key to helping everyone maintain their balance. And complementary to that are my squatting exercises. And let me give you a brief demonstration of that. Squatting, there's no perfect way to do it. If you need to get started with using a chair to do your squats, that's perfectly okay. Whatever it takes to get you building up muscles in your thighs, building muscles in your gluteus maximus, exercising your joints, and your balance. I mean, because your balance will come into this. So there's 4 aspects to benefit to help you become stronger. So I generally start up with a warming up of 5, and then I do an additional 65. Obviously, I'm not going to do that today, but I do want to give you a clear example of how I do it. And again, whatever works for you is the right way to do it. So, as you can see, I'm up, my heels are off the ground, my knees are fully bent, I'm supporting my weight with my thighs and my buttocks, and I'm also developing more balance. So all 4 aspects are very important. So I encourage you to work on that one, and incrementally go ahead and do it. Don't put your body at any extreme ever with any of these exercises. Extremes aren't what get you there. It's slow and slow and slow you progress. Okay, so that's my squatting. And my final are my asana, my yogic type exercises. I do actually 8 full cycles. And I'm obviously not going to do that. I'll do one short one with some brief explanations when I think explanation is needed. So I start off, and this first one needs a little explanation. I'm going to raise my hands to my forehead. I'm going to put them behind my head. I'm going to lock the hands. I'm going to bend to a count of 5 one way. I'm going to bend to a count of 5 the other way. And then there's 3 parts of this final piece. And that is counting to 10, bending my knees, counting to 10, bringing my heels off the mat, and then counting to 10, arching my back backwards. So let me see if I can show you what I mean. Inhale. And my arms are pulling at each other, so I've got tension on my arms. That's the first routine. This next exercise is primarily a balancing exercise, and it consists of bending all the way over and then getting up on your toes, raising up off your heels, and getting as far up as you possibly can. So I start with, in my mind, I think, okay, bend, count to 20 quickly. So I inhale. Excuse me, my hands are behind me, I'm sorry. Inhale, bend quick 10, all the way over. And now slowly, very slowly, raise your heels off the mat. Some days, it's like I'm floating on a cloud, and some days I can hardly get my heels off the mat. So you just take it as it comes. The next exercise I would advise not doing with anyone else in the room because I think you might scare them. This is what I call my facial massage. And you start with flexing the muscles underneath your chin for the count of 5. You then proceed to stiffen your jaws and flex the muscles going up to your eyes. Keeping the tension there. You come back down. You come back in with the tension on your muscles below your chin, and you finish with a grimace on your face. So it looks like something like this. Hands behind your back again. And obviously the intention here is to try to moderate the turkey neck. And I think it's been somewhat successful. The next exercise involves stretching. So you go to you open sideways position. Your one leg is facing out, the other one is closing off. And depending on how warmed up I am, I will do either a count of 18 or a count of 24. And I find that if I keep my awareness, my focus directly underneath me, that it helps with balance. You obviously can experiment with whatever works for you. But basically it's, so with each little breath, I add a count. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now on the other side, I've had 2 major injuries to my left knee. So, and I had one where I had a bone or something pressuring up onto my skin. So I use my safety net, which is generally, again, a chair, a couch, a bed, whatever's available. Today I'll use this bench here, and basically the same as the other side, keeping the focus here, inhaling, arms either on your hips or on the thighs, whatever is comfortable. So I do a count of 12, And then I get my safety net. And it works very, very nicely. Very nicely. So next we come to what I call the 12 down and 12 up. It's a real simple exercise. It's a stretching exercise. So you have to lock your hands. I come up from the stretches and I take a rest, lock my hands. That's the count of 12. And now I'm going to go up to the same count. Okay, now we'll start the mat work, as it were. And I've come up with what I think is a very safe way to get from standing straight up to the mat itself. It consists of moving your left leg into the center, your right foot to a bit forward, and going into a sprint startup position. Slowly okay. Now move your hands forward, your feet together, and I'm going to do an arch to a count of 5 and hold. Okay. Now I'm going to get my toes flat on the mat, and I'm going to push my buttocks as far back as I can, palms forward, and then I'm going to bounce to the count of 5 and touch my head. And I repeat. Now I'm going to do a glide to the right and touching, and a glide to the left. And now I will go into plank position. I'll put my palms together. I'll get up on my toes. I'll go into plank, and then I'm going to raise myself up on my shoulders to a count of 5 while inhaling. Lock my shoulders, and I'm going to exhale to 5, and then continue my breathing while my shoulders stay locked. So it looks something like this. That's my plank. Shoulder lock. Exhale. When you start out, that will not be a comfortable position, but it gets much, much better. Okay, we're going to now go to the back end of the cycle and repeat a number of the exercises that we did at the beginning. So we'll go into an arch again. Straight up now. Rest and take a deep breath. Open sideways position again. and switch. Okay. The 12 down and 12 up again. Hands behind the back and the facial massage. The bend in quick 20. Bend all the way over and quick 10. Then slowly raising your heels off the floor, off the mat again. And finally, back to our initial exercise, which involves that is my daily routine. Thank you for joining me, and I hope as you design your own workout that you can incorporate some of the exercise that I've just shown you, but most importantly that you make a commitment to protecting and maintaining your health and your strength as you age. Thank you one and all. Love and light.